What's going on, guys? I'm Jay the Black. Shout out to everyone that is tuning in. I want to talk about Tiffany Cross. Tiffany Cross was a host on MSNBC, one of the worst news channels out there. All the craziness, the real misinformation, the BS, the race baiting. None of it is very productive whatsoever. And Tiffany Cross was a part of that. She was a black female face on that network, and now she's fired. And there were a lot of uneasiness. There was a lot of backlash. Why are you firing this black woman? Only for MSNBC to provide the receipts. And this is how you know that this network is ran by a black woman, because as soon as they start getting pushback, they start putting the information out here, okay? Because MSNBC's president is a black female by the name of Rashida Jones. No, it wasn't a white man or a white woman that facilitated the firing of Tiffany Cross. It was a fellow black woman. Now, you're not going to hear a lot about that in the media, because they want to push this narrative like all these black women in media, especially liberal media, they all get along. Well, that's until their bosses tell them that you need to do something. This woman is out here. She is using the money for her own leisure. Her show is not that good. And, she needs to be out of here. And Rashida Jones did exactly that. And again, you had all these people coming together to try to, stand up and speak out for Tiffany Cross. And I don't know if that's going to work. Tiffany Cross has hired a lawyer. She's hired Gabrielle Union's power lawyer after MSNBC exit. Again, don't know what that's going to do. If they can provide information that showed that Tiffany Cross is a liar and somebody that went against the company's policies. Let's get into this Euroweb article. It says ex-MSNBC host Tiffany Cross was given the boot earlier this month, and it appears it was because she was on her city girl-ish. According to the New York Post, her weekend show, The Cross Connection, was abruptly canceled earlier this month when MSNBC decided not to renew her contract. While many assume it was due to her speaking vulgarities on air, an insider learned that it may have been her spending habits that got her the boot. That doesn't matter. They allow these black women to get on TV and make a complete fool of themselves as long as they are liberal leaning and they're Democrats. They'll allow them to do whatever they want to do. Just don't take extra money from the company. But I believe there's some other things going on behind the scenes. Per the report, she also had been under fire for racking up as much as $100,000 in expenses for 5-star hotel stays, though only at MSNBC for 2 years. She took trips to Los Angeles and the Super Bowl, calling them work trips. Right. Her Oscars trip, in which she stayed at the Beverly Hills Wilshire on Rodeo Drive for an extended stay, raised eyebrows, according to a source. Of course she was using the money to fund her own lifestyle. We wouldn't be talking about one of these liberal melanated females if she's not taking liberties, okay? She's staying at a hotel and NBC's execs don't stay at, the source said. So she went to the nicest hotel she could find. Of course. The source said this particular hotel charges more than $1,000 a night for a basic room. She mistook working in television news for being a celebrity. The source added she was making north of $200,000 and she acted like she made $5 million. So she was only making $200,000. See, because again, you can't tell these Western women nothing. They think they're stars. Tiffany Cross thought she was a star, and she wanted to be treated like one. Even though I have never watched a single second of her show, a lot of other people didn't. That's why her contract didn't get renewed. And she decided that she thought she was more important than she really was. And that's why they said, oh no, we got a black woman here who is important, and you ain't her. You ain't her, right? And she really thought that she was going to be able to do these things and get away with it, and there would be no repercussions for what happened. And this is how I know that a black woman is behind getting her out of here and providing the information. Look at this quote. She mistook working in television for being a celebrity. Who would write that quote except for a black woman? A black woman had to have wrote that quote. I'm sorry. A black woman have to have wrote that quote. They say, you gonna get a lawyer? Or are you gonna have your friends, your liberal friends come at us? Oh no. The NY Post article also says that Cross characterized CNN's Van Jones, ESPN anchor Sage Steele, and former MSNBC anchor Carlos Watson as black journalists who are not necessarily black voices. So once again, we have a black female throwing other black people, even though Sage Steele is mixed, under the bus, two black men and a mixed woman, because they ain't as black as her. Of course, they don't steal company money or use company funds to fund trips to go stay in a 6-star hotel on Rodeo Drive, or to just to go to the Oscars or to go to the Super Bowl. You see, they're not doing that, so they're not real black voices. So you're a real black voice, right? This is the same woman that thought that the Miami Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa was a black man when he is, I believe, Samoan or Polynesian. She thought that he was black and he's not. Saying the NFL doesn't care about black bodies. Tua ain't black. He may have a tan, but he's not black. I see my colleagues dilute themselves, water down their points, go out of their way to make white folks comfortable because they think somehow that is going to win them some prize, Cross said in an after-show video with political commentators Jason Johnson and Roland. Of course, you got this weirdo Roland Martin. The guy's clearly out of his mind. He is a Democratic operative. He is a guy that really doesn't give a shit about black people, because if he did, he would see the condition that black people are in and try to look for a solution to change it, and he ain't looking for it. He's just looking to, cover up the problem and tell you to keep voting blue. Posted on her Instagram without naming names. The article goes on to reveal the network's standards team and MSNBC President Rashida Jones sat down with Cross multiple times, warning her to refrain from name calling and use of vulgar, lewd language. They didn't have a problem with Cross' message. It was her delivery, according to the source. This woman did not care. This woman thought that because she was a black woman on TV, she could do whatever she wanted to do. That's the problem. These women don't like accountability. And when you hold them accountable, they don't like it. This woman really thought that she could get on TV and say and do whatever she wanted to do. And that's not how it goes, Tiffany. You can't just get on TV and represent a company and say whatever you want to say, because if you're out here disrespecting other journalists or other networks, because again, Van Jones is a Democrat, you're basically disrespecting people who are in the same group as you. You have to have a certain decorum. When you're around these so-called white people in media, is especially your bosses at MSNBC or NBC Universal, you ain't talking that blickety black BS. You ain't talking white folks this, white folks that. You ain't talking that, Tiffany. I know that. You're one of these college educated females that will act one way when people are watching, but when ain't nobody else watching, you're a completely different woman. I know women like this. When they think the coast is clear, they ain't talking all that BS. It was her crass comments about Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas that put her on a fast track to be booted. It was on her October 15th show that she called him Justice Pubic Hair on My Cocaine. A source told the Post that was basically the beginning of the end. Justice Pubic Hair on My Cocaine. This woman is insane. Like, what? Where did you get that joke from? A white guy you smoke marijuana with? Like, Justice Pubic Hair on My Cocaine. That's she ain't got no problem disrespecting black people. How are you for black people, Tiffany? And you have no problems getting on TV and disrespecting black people. I understand that you disagree with black people politically, especially black men, because she seems like she has a problem with black men, especially black men who don't believe what she believes. Because these melanated women like Tiffany Cross, they think they're in a different category from us. I understand that if you disagree, right? If you disagree politically with somebody and you want to challenge their points, that's fine. But when you start calling them names and being disrespectful, Clarence Thomas has accomplished more in his life, Tiffany, than you ever will achieve. You got fired because you're lousy at your job, you're vulgar, and you weren't qualified for it. So disrespecting black men will get you nowhere. It will get you fired. Just ask your former boss, Rashida Jones. Because she tried to warn you and you didn't listen. She may have wanted you to succeed, but because you're your own worst enemy and you clearly have psychological issues, like most Western women, you chose to go out there and destroy your own career. You did that to yourself, Tiffany. Nobody did that to you. Nobody. So let me stay in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. Like this video and share. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and I'll see y'all next one.